Hi, it's Martin from Moshville Times, and I'm here with Christofer Johnsson from Therion. How are you doing today?
Very well, thank you.
You've just started your best of tour. This will be the third date. But how have the previous nights been so far?
It's been good.
Yeah.
I mean, this is our third tour we do without the new record, so we're stepping down a little bit in venue size, but it's been good crowds and we had loads of fun.
Okay. It's called the best of tour, but what can fans expect when they come along to see you on this tour? Will you be playing stuff from the very early death metal material, from say Of Darkness, or will you be drawn mainly from the later albums?
No, we did from Lit Like a Cliff Off onwards, so 1995 and onwards.
Okay.
Nothing with death metal vocals.
Mm-hmm.
And we're doing a best of set, but we had a vote on the internet as well, and fans preferred to have a lot of rare songs in there as well. So we're doing 5 songs that we never performed live before actually, and a couple that we haven't been doing for many years.
I was going to ask you about that. How did you go about picking the songs? Because there's quite an extensive back catalogue now. If it was just fan requests, or if it was your own favourites, or just a mix?
Well, I try to put myself in a fan position, and actually we always try to do something new on each tour. That, not only new songs from a new record, but always to do songs from previous albums that we haven't played live before. I always try to think of the perspective. If you've seen the band live 5 times, why would you need to see the band the 6th time? And we would like to give them a reason for that there will always be some surprises in the set list and something rare, and vary the set lists from between the decades as well, so that there's always a rotation of the songs.
On this tour you have a new singer in the form of, I may not say this right actually, Chiara Malvestiti.
Chiara Malvestiti, Italian.
Close. Yeah, who's a replacement for Laurie Lewis. How did you discover her and what made her stand out from the others that you might have auditioned?
Actually, we got a tip that we should check her out. And
I had a look at some YouTube videos. She was very impressive. And
I didn't know about it before, but we got a tip from another singer, and we have some very high range stuff, which is very wearing on the voice. And when you tour so many shows back to back and sweaty audiences with smoke on stage, it's very different from regular opera performance. And Chiara just have an incredible upper range. Songs that we would normally need to put a few songs into the set, so the singer, well, like Laurie the last couple of years, to get warmed up properly to do it, we can actually sound check with it with Chiara. She has an extremely strong upper register, and also very beautiful voice and charming personality, which is very important in this band, because we want to be a happy family. We do this because we like doing it. So it's very important that there's just good vibe people, no egos or anything.
You're on the road and you're all living together, so it's good if you get on.
See the bus, it's just beds upstairs in a small lounge, so you live very tightly together. And when you tour Latin America, you're flying all the time, and it means you get very little sleep, and it's easy to get grumpy. So it's good to have a bunch of happy fellas.
There's 2 support bands tonight, one of which is your own project, the Luciferian Light Orchestra, and you just released your self-titled debut album this year. How did that project come into being, and how do you think that differs from Therion?
I always wrote a lot of songs that were 70s sounding, late 60s, early 70s sounding, and few of them were rearranged to fit Therion, but there was a big bunch of songs that was always left over. And now when we had this, well, what should I call it, vintage revival, with all these bands, like in Britain you have Patterson, for instance, which I think is really one of the best bands.
I actually discovered them just because I was looking at Luciferian Light Orchestra and it came up as well. So,
you didn't know them before?
I didn't know them before.
I love them. Anyway, because of this trend, in this wave of bands that are into this retro style, I thought, well, it's now or never. If I'm gonna compile these songs and have anybody interested in it, then let's do it now. If I would have done it earlier, I think it would have been very little interest. It would have been, I mean, of course, there's always Therion fans who would buy just about anything I put out as long as it's good quality. But I thought there would be a market for people who don't like Therion now, but who could appreciate this. And it was the oldest song from the recording session was from '95, so it's really old songs, most of them. And well, it's hard to promote a new band, and since we anyway were going on tour, why pay shitloads of cash to put them on another tour when I can put them for free on my own tour? Also, I can make sure everything works the way it should, managing the band.
Is it quite hard going for you, doing 2 sets in different bands in the same night?
I don't play with Luciferian Light.
Oh, you don't? Oh,
no.
okay.
I write the songs and I produce the albums, and
Right.
you can say I own the band,
Right.
the management, but there will be other people performing.
Okay.
So it's like franchising.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not impossible that I, at some point, may do some shows with it just for the fun of it. But the idea is that I wanted to create a band which I'm supplying with songs, producing the record. So
there's been 3 videos for that album so far, which is quite a lot for one album. Could you tell me a bit about those?
They're all very low budget, and you get a lot of connections when you are in this business, and it's very seldom that I try to pull some strings because of that. But when you start up with a new band, you really start up with 2 empty hands. Of course, I have my personal brand because of Therion, but that doesn't mean that everybody's standing, queuing up to throw money at me. Labels and other business partners, they're interested if they can make money. They don't make charity, So you need to do a bit of promotion on yourself and on your own, and I didn't really have much cash left for it, so you have to use your imagination, and there's always a friend of somebody, and somebody you worked with in some other project who really liked it, and as a favor they would do this for you for next to nothing. So we spent the same money on each video clip that you would normally spend on open the guitar case and video clip with Therion, in most cases. But they turned out pretty nice. I'm really happy with them.
The final result doesn't look low budget at all. They look very good.
And we did one of them when we were in Montenegro on vacation. My girlfriend is from Montenegro, and she had some connections there, so we just went out to some of her friends' summer house by a lake there. They made this upside down cross on a little island, and the locals were very confused about that. And just pure luck, like this snake. We just ran into the snake by pure chance, and somebody took a stick to make it a bit angry, so it was making attacks. And they filmed the attacks, and then the snake was like, "These guys are crazy. Let's get out of here!" And they followed the snake, and so sometimes you're just very lucky, We became one of the main characters in that video clip. And we just used our imagination to do cool things, and they came up with some really cool ideas. And the video clip for Taste the Blood was done as a bit of a surprise by my girlfriend. She went there earlier to hang with her friends, and she and some friends just did the video clip as a surprise to me. So it was pretty cool. Looks awesome.
Looks good. There's quite strong imagery in the videos. Are there particular messages you're trying to get across through the video, or
no?
Just
cool videos.
Looks good. Yeah. Okay. You're a founding member of the cult organisation Dragon Rouge, I believe. Do your beliefs have an influence on your music?
Well, my perception on a lot of things changed by joining, but I wouldn't say it has a direct influence, no. Indirect influence, in the same way as if you would move to another country which is radically different from your own, will give you a lot of different perceptions and thoughts about how society should work. So of course, if you engage yourself in something spiritual, it changes your mind about a lot of things, and which indirectly affects the music.
The last Therion album you did was at Le Fleur de Mal back in 2012. Do you have any news on a forthcoming Therion album?
We're working on the rock opera, and Le Fleur de Mal was like a jubileum album, like a cover album. It wasn't a regular album, so we haven't made a regular album in almost 6 years actually. But we're working on the rock opera now. The intention is to be ready by the summer with the songwriting. If that happens, who knows? But at least that's the intention. To enter the studio for the audio version in September. But it will be mainly a live thing.
Okay.
If you think Jesus Christ Superstar, there's a studio recording of it, and you can buy it on CD. But to most people, it's a live experience.
Okay. And it'll be, I suppose it'll be like a play rather than just a series of songs that have a connected story. And
It's a rock opera,
Yeah.
but it will be the first rock opera in the true sense of the word. But it will be only opera voices, rock music. I would say most rock operas, they're just rock musicals. That will be the difference.
Okay. I noticed that Christian Vidal is now giving guitar lessons over Skype, which is pretty cool. Is that something you've ever been interested in? Have you ever done any teaching in the past, or does that inspire you to do anything
It's
like that?
not my thing at all. I mean, I don't know how it's doing. You have to ask Christian about that. I think he has a couple of students, but I don't like internet very much, to be honest. So I stay away as much as I can from it.
It tends to be a bit of a time waster. You've just recently released a new DVD called Garden of Evil, which I believe is a collection of live clips and some other bonus material. Are you happy with the way that turned out?
It's just a fan release, self-release, small thing. I'd just like to do a couple of things for the die-hard fans now in this period. So I also just made a very limited release for 1,200 copies of some leftovers from Le Fleur de Mal. Because I don't know where we're gonna mix the rock opera. So I decided to try my own studio to mix there, see how the stuff would sound. So since we had some leftovers from Le Fleur de Mal, we mixed it, and it's released Le Epave, it's called, which we just sell here at the concerts and at the mail order. Just get some feedback on the production and a little treat for the die-hard fans. And same thing with the DVD. It was just a treat for the die-hard fans. It's limited to 1,000 copies. So I think I put like 150 copies in distribution or something like that, just to have some to appear randomly at some stores. But the rest was just direct sales. Also, it's interesting to see how big the market is for that type of thing. How much can you actually sell directly? I just like to figure things out, and by doing experiments, get empiric experiences. And especially in these days where people ask, like, do you need a record company, and is Spotify the future, and so on. I definitely think you need record companies, but maybe for different reasons than before. But it's good to find out for yourself these things.
The last time I saw you guys was about 20 years ago in Glasgow. That was about 18 years ago. Why is it taking you so long to come back?
I don't think we have a very big crowd here. I mean, we're playing a very small place.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was surprised because you're obviously very big in Europe and things.
We do well in London, but for the rest of the UK, and I mean, Ireland was okay. We only played it once at 600 people or something, but it's usually continental Europe, and we don't really do well in Scandinavia either. So it's just some places we do well, some maybe less good. But London is usually very good. So I guess people travel a lot there, so we'll see. Manchester is the first time for us now.
Well, London's got quite a condensed, large population, I guess. So.
But actually, the show in Glasgow was very memorable. We went on stage and it was absolutely dead quiet. You could hear a needle fall. So obviously people didn't know us, and we started to play. And after some songs, some heads started to move a bit, and by the middle of the show, it was pretty good reception. At the end of the show, we're fucking smashing the place. It's like we were their favorite band all of a sudden. And when you have that type of thing, you go on stage and people are like, "Oh, who the hell are they?" And they really show appreciation at the end of this set. Then you really know that you made a good show. If you play as a headliner and everybody's a bit drunk and you play their favorite songs, they always think you're really good, even if you're not. If you have a bad day, people will still say it's okay. But the worst thing was that after the show, I spoke with people, and they're like, "Oh, great band! Did you guys make a record? We're promoting our 7th album." So it's really weird that nobody had heard about us, even though we've been on the front page of metal magazines, and must have been reviews in every British metal media, and they completely was under the radar for them. So I don't know if that's a Scotland thing or if it's just us.
Well, it's funny because I was there that night and I didn't really know Therion at all. I knew I had of Darkness album, so I had an idea of what I thought I was going to expect, and then he came on and it was like, oh, you know, I'd never really heard anything like that before, the opera thing, and it was quite I don't know, it was a bit of a shock. And then by the end of the set, we thought, wow, this is actually amazing stuff. So I became a fan after that night.
It was Therion, Moonspell and Anathema, and all 3 bands were at the top of their careers, and we pulled 250 people all together. I should tell you something about how big the metal scene is, you know, for that type of gothic metal or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. It's nice for the die-hard fans to see you in a small venue like this, but not so much for yourself.
It will be fun. It's usually totally raving concerts when you do it this way.
Yeah.
We'll be cramped on stage. Everybody just get their position, and we just play until the end and leave. You know, no encores. You just have to. Well, the encores will be played, but without leaving the stage. And so there won't be much of a show, just dirty playing. But it's usually very intimate with the fans. And when we play Latin America, for instance, and sometimes do small stadiums, some occasions, it's very impersonal. You have the strong light in your eyes, and you see the first 3 rows, and the rest is just a mass. And it's usually a couple of meters from the stage to the first row. So it's very impersonal in a way. Of course, you get an adrenaline rush from thousands of people yelling, and so it's every show has its charm. But when you do these really small ones, it's really personal. You know, you really know where to go, literally speaking. So you better do a good job on stage.
You did on a different subject. You did a soundtrack for an independent film called The Golden Embrace quite a while back. Would you be interested in doing another movie soundtrack? Has there been any movies you thought I'd love to have done a soundtrack for that?
You have no idea how good timing is. How good timing that question has. Around 2 years ago, there was this French dude who came to our show in Paris, and he said, "Oh, I'm a film director. I'm gonna do my first movie now," and you know, it was an interesting topic he wanted to put in the movie, and he asked, "Can I send you like the manuscript? Like, if you like it, maybe you would be interested to do the film music." And I thought, yeah, sure, send it to me. And it was really good manuscript. I said, yeah, I would love to do this. And I thought it would be really low budget, and I didn't hear from him for years, literally. He was looking for people to fund the movie and preparing everything, and you know, it takes time to make a film. So, and then all of a sudden he came back to me. "Oh, well, you know, things are coming together now. We put up a web page for it, and you know, we have the financiers." So I look at the web page, and of course they put my name big there. It's like, oops, okay. And then I checked the casting, and you had Christophe Lambert, the guy who did Highlander, main character of Highlander, Iggy Pop, and all the famous French actors. All of a sudden, it's a big bloody movie. You know? It's not a small production at all for being his first movie. That's quite spectacular. So now I have to really make something good. And now things are happening, so I'm gonna have to start with that as soon as possible when I get back from the tour.
What kind of genre is the movie? Is it sci-fi or horror?
Sci-fi horror.
Okay, that's
it
a
is.
good guess.
Very good guess.
Yeah.
Sci-fi horror with, I think, some small comedy things in it as well. It's a French movie. Have you ever seen a French movie?
We have. They're generally a wee bit strange. I don't know.
Yeah, they're always very strange. So what we label it as and how they label it, it's probably two different things. You know,
Yeah.
when they think it's an ordinary movie, we think it's a very weird movie.
Yeah.
But I love French movies. The weirder they are, the better. So for me, it's especially a dream to make film music for a French movie.
Yeah.
Hollywood thing maybe would be more status, but from an artist point of view, the French one will be awesome.
Yeah, I'll look forward to seeing that. That sounds good. Finally, do you have a message out there for all your fans out there who are thinking about coming along to see you on this tour?
Yeah, don't miss us. We'll be working on the rock opera for a long time. So, wait, actually, I thought we wouldn't be touring at all since we started to do the rock opera, and now we're doing the second tour since I said that. So you should never say never. But I really don't see how we could make a fourth tour without a new record. No promoter would be stupid enough to pay us for that. And once the rock opera keeps going, if it's successful, we'll probably be busy for years with that. We'll do festivals and stuff in the summer, but the idea will be to perform that. And since it's a crowd which is not necessarily consisting of our own fans, it will be more like people, moms and dad, who would go to see a musical. It could be that we even need to franchise it because it will be more demand than we can supply, or we just get fed up with playing the same thing. Well, we'll see. One of the reasons I'm really taking a lot of time for this is to get it right. The thing is, if we're gonna do this, there's so many factors that need to be right. First of all, of course, we need to do music that please ourselves.
Yeah.
Secondly, we need to make music that our fans doesn't reject. Third, we need to make music that your mom and dad can listen to because they have the cash and they're gonna go and be the majority of the crowd for this. If that wasn't hard enough, you also have the thing with different scenes. You can't just make music. It has to fit the scene in question. In the beginning, it's easy. You just write music and you find a scene for that song. But the more you fill it, you just have a couple of scenes left. And if you have a love scene, you can't have a grindcore song there. Or if you have a battle scene, it can't be a ballad. Or more complex than obvious things. You know, it should really be music that fits into what happens on stage because it's music theater. So that's pretty time consuming to pass all these filters of being approved into the concept. But I think we're doing all right. We have 40% of the music written already, and I have shitloads of ideas.
It sounds like a busy year for you anyway.
It will be, for sure.
Well, thanks very much for the interview. It's very much appreciated, and we're looking forward to the gig tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
So looking forward as well.